Robert De Niro. I'm one of the biggest Robert De Niro fans out there. I know a lot of us are. He was recently on the cover of AARP magazine, which offers annual memberships that provides access to senior discounts and offers of that type down in the States. He gave an interview recently to that publication about his 9-month-old daughter, Gia. For those who don't know the story, you heard me right. He's 80 years old, and Robert De Niro has a 9-month-old daughter, and this is how he spoke about it.
Everything that I'm consumed with or worried about or this and that just goes away when I look at her. So that in itself is, you know, wondrous.
Beautiful relationship.
Oh.
Beautiful clip. And
Wow.
we have this, look at this still.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Let's throw that, oh, forgive me. I got to stop looking at preview monitor. I get in trouble every time. We'll have it in a second. But now, that is beauty.
Yes.
Even someone with no soul like me can find the beauty in that of a father talking about his daughter. The age thing, we've talked about this on the show previously. This is no, I'm being consistent with this. I do feel for both of them that time is not necessarily on their side. Look, that is absolutely incredible, that photo. But after hearing that clip, do I have to ignore that aspect of it, Mayor, because of just my cynical self and just focus on the love that exists? Or is that still kind of a thing in the human condition that you have to think about, the age when you become a parent of any kind?
You're thinking, you know, that he will unfortunately not be around as
into the math of
long
it,
as
yes.
into the math of
Yes.
the whole thing. Yeah. Well, look, I mean, it's a big conversation that people are having. People are having kids later and later in life. Obviously, guys have a bit more time. Room on that than we women. But yeah, I mean, I you know, you have one opinion of it, and then you see that. Look, he's Robert De Niro. He's doing well. The child is clearly going to be taken care of, you know, as he moves on potentially in the years to come. How can you say no to that? How can you say that that's not a good idea when you see that kind of love? That's where I'm at.
I feel like, you know, a conversation obviously needs to happen, and I'm sure that him and his partner had a conversation, and they made a decision. And I feel like the alternative is the baby doesn't exist, and I think that the baby would rather exist and know their parents.
Existence is good.
Existence is good, you know, know their parent, know the love, and see those kinds of clips and interviews, you know, in the future one day, and be like, well, my dad really loved me. And, you know, I had that kind of support. And I feel like the support of their siblings, you know, they'll have a big old family around them. And I think that's okay. I think it's beautiful.
When I was younger, I thought about, I'm going to have a family, I'm going to do this, you know, I'm going to be a dad, and all that's going to happen. As I've gotten older, clearly that hasn't happened. But I do think about, at this point in my life, if I was to get into a serious relationship and think about having a family, at what age everything would happen. At 10 years old, when my kid's 10, how old am I gonna be? When my kid's 15, I wanna play basketball with them, how old am I gonna be? When I'm about to, pass away, how old is my kid gonna be? And then I leave them without a father. I don't want a kid to grow up that way. So I think about those things. So I understand your cynicism about it and where it is when he's 80 doing that. Is it fair to bring in another life when you know you're not potentially going to be there for too long?
The years that you are going to be there, though,
are going to be amazing.
Love them?
Yeah. It's just cynical, but it's just a different way of
I
thinking.
just want to add
Go ahead,
to this,
Frankie.
because when it comes to thinking, you know, I'm 51 right now, and I'm at a stage of my life. When I think about my two boys.
Yeah.
I think about bringing in a younger life. How's that going to affect them in terms of their friendships, in terms of that age difference? So that's a big thing for me. Robert De Niro is way different than any of us on this. He has lots of access, but right now I don't really think about me so much because I have two other boys. That how's that going to impact them? So that's why I would say no, and I'll wait for them to have kids so I can give them back to them and enjoy that love.
Listen, I'm only 43 years old, not 80, and I do that math all the time with my little one because I had her later in life. I had her when I was 40. And I'm always thinking, oh my goodness, I pray that I will be there to see her grow up and get married. But on the reality is you just never know.
No, you never
At
know.
43, you never know. At 80, you could go early.
At 25,
I could go
you never know.
whatever.
You know what I mean? You never
So
know.
I don't
That's the other way to look
I
at
don't
it, yeah.
think that you should stop making this life and creating this life and this joy for all of that family because of your own age.
Yeah.
Again, like I do feel a certain way about this, but you can't deny that clip.
No.
Yeah.
And the emotion
beautiful.
of
So much
a
love.
dad.
It's
It was touching.
But a
And
grandparent would have the same emotion too.
Correct. Correct. I'll leave it at that. It was touching without question.
Yeah.
No, you